Find out about Cheorwon, Korea's hub for transport and economy before the war, and how improved inter-Korean relations are expected to boost the regional economy. Meet Sarah Murray, the head coach of the Korean women's ice hockey team, the first ever unified team in history. Take a glimpse of South Korea's humanitarian efforts to restore North Korea's forests and landscapes, which now has the third highest rate of deforestation in the world. Celebrated classical composer 윤이상의 returned home 23 years after his death. Learn more about his music and life in his hometown of Dongyang. The improved relationship between South and North Korea is raising hopes of an economic boom in the border regions. Cheorwon in Gangwon-do Province is one of them. Once a site of fierce battles, it's now anticipating a new economic breakthrough. Let's visit the region to learn more about its past, present, and future. Cheorwon Peace Observatory is located in the central area of Cheorwon-gun, offering a panoramic view of the demilitarized zone between South and North Korea. It's a key attraction of the country's security tour program. Here, visitors can see traces of the Battle of Baekmagoji and the Battle of Bloody Ridge, two of the bloodiest battles of the Korean War. Also, they can take a look around the second underground tunnel, which was made by North Koreans to invade South Korea, as well as recreations of a military tent and checkpoint.
북한에 대해서 무관심한 경우가 많았는데 오히려 직접 철원에 와보고 이런 통할 전망대에 와보니까 이렇게 눈앞에 북한의 땅도 보이고 좀 더 북한에 대해서 관심이 많아지는 계기가 될 수 있을 것 같습니다.
개인적으로는 훈풍이 불 거라고 생각을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 사실은 희망컨대 내년에 기회가 된다면 뭐 금강산을 가거나 아니면 다시 뭐 개성을 가거나 이제 그럴 수 있는 시기가 왔으면 조속히 왔으면 좋겠다라는 생각을 가지고 있습니다. 네.
Cheorwon is located in the middle of the Korean Peninsula. Due to restricted civilian access, the ecosystem is very well preserved here. It's a paradise for migratory birds. Before the division, Cheorwon was Korea's hub for transportation and economy. Built during the Japanese colonial rule, a railway connected Seoul and Wonsan in Gangwon-do Province, along with trains from Cheorwon to Kumgangsan Mountain.
철원이 일단은 사방으로 통화할 수 있는 그 중심부에 이 철원이 위치하고 있거든요. 그러다 보니까 한반도 내에서 전쟁이 일어나면 이곳은 완전히 서로 끊임없이 차지하려는 쟁패 지역이 돼버리는 거죠.
Now, only old traces remain to show its history. Waljeongni Station, made obsolete by the Korean War, is one of the noted attractions at the DMZ. It used to be a temporary station on the Gangwon line heading to the north. A sign reads, "The Iron Horse wants to run again," with the remnants of a train that made frequent trips to North Korea. As the last stop before reaching the DMZ, the station offers a symbolic depiction of Korea's painful past.
I feel it's very sobering, and I feel a lot of empathy. And I feel the desire for the peaceful reunification of North and South Korea, and I just feel very strongly that, everyone is trying their best and trying to have compassion and empathy for each other, so it's very sobering.
Cheorwon Labour Party headquarters is another site that captures the vestiges of the Korean War and the abundant development of the area in the past. It used to be the headquarters of the Labour Party from the beginning of liberation until the outbreak of the Korean War. Now, only part of the building remains with traces of cannonballs and bullets on the outer walls and pillars, speaking to the fierce battles between the two Koreas. Cheorwon accounts for 1/3 of the DMZ area. In contrast to its flourishing development before the war, the locals experienced serious hardships under strict restrictions imposed for the sake of military security.
한 60년 동안 건물을 새로 짓는다든지 증개축을 한다든지 그다음에 출입 문제 더더군다나 거기다 근린시설이나 산업시설을 짓는다라는 것은 불과 얼마 전까지만 해도 전혀 불가능했던 지역이고요. 전쟁 끝나고 난 다음에 지금까지 아주 지속적으로 이렇게 침체되었다고 봐도 과언이 아닙니다.
Now that inter-Korean relations have improved, the locals are hoping for a new economic boom. Fortunately, it's not just empty hope. The construction of the Cheorwon Peace Industrial Complex is being discussed for the two states as a follow-up to the Kaesong Industrial Complex.
철원에다가 남측의 공단을 조성하고 북측의 근로자를 출퇴근시키는 방안으로 이렇게 조성해보자고 한 것이 철원 평화산업단의 근간입니다. 이렇게 된다라고 하면 기업들이 아무래도 투자하는데 훨씬 더 좀 안정적이고요.
저희로서는 두말할 나위요. 아주 좋은 일이죠. 굉장히 많이 기대를 하고 있고 이렇게 남북 관계가 좋아지는 것만이 저희 접경 지역 주민으로서는 새로운 활로를 찾을 수 있고 아주 바람직한 일이라고 생각합니다.
South and North Korea will hold their first summit in more than a decade on April 27. With that as momentum, the locals are hoping for the revival of old Cheorwon. The PyeongChang Winter Olympics was the setting for a historic moment of unity between the two Koreas after months of escalating tensions. At the center of that breakthrough is the unified Korean women's ice hockey team, the first inter-Korean squad in history. Let's get an insight into that touching moment with Sarah Murray, the head coach of the unified team.
Hi, I'm Sarah Murray. I'm the head coach of the South Korean national team.
Last January, the International Olympic Committee, with the NOCs of the two Koreas, announced that there would be a joint Korean women's ice hockey team competing in PyeongChang, just about 2 weeks ahead of the sporting event.
2 days before we heard the North was coming, we made our final cut. And these were the players who were going to go to the Olympics. And then the North came, and we had to tell the players, okay, 3 of you might not play in the Olympics. So I think that was the hardest part, was our team. We worked for 4 years, and then right before the Olympics, some of the players didn't know if they were going to play or not.
That abrupt decision soon led to a huge political firestorm and controversy. The unified Korean team consisted of 35 players, 12 from the north and 23 from the south. Tensions continued to mount within the South Korean team even after the final decision was made, with fears that they might be deprived of their hard-earned opportunities to compete.
So it was a little bit tense, I think, because we kind of felt like we didn't have a lot of control over the situation.
3 days after the unified team was formed, the North Korean athletes joined the training sessions at the Jincheon National Training Center, and the 70 years of division was evident in many different ways. Shin So-jung, the goaltender of the national team, also recalls her first encounter with the North Korean athletes as an embarrassing moment.
2, 3일 동안은 같이 훈련을 하지 않았었어요. 초반에는. 이제 그 당시에는 이제 대화도 나눌 기회도 없었고, 그리고 밥도 각자 따로따로 먹고 했었는데, 그때 마침 북측 선수의 이제 진옥 선수라고 주장 선수가 생일이었거든요. 그래서 생일 파티 열어주면서 분위기도 많이 거기서 좀 딱딱했던 분위기가 좀 많이 조금 부드러워지는 계기도 됐던 것 같아요.
Despite all the differences, including dialects, training methods, and living environment, they worked together to achieve the same goal. The beginning was tough, but they gradually came together to make the impossible possible. The 2018 Winter Olympics presented Murray with many special memories.
I think just our team walking in opening ceremonies is kind of my best personal memory. Our players were linking arms with the North players, walking in together. I actually was holding hands with the North coach. I wanted to walk together with him, just next to him, and he grabbed my hand and we walked in holding hands for opening ceremonies, just to show that we were united.
Not only the coaches, but the athletes also bonded quickly with one another. After the final match ended, Murray shed tears, thinking of what it took for them to get there.
We've worked for 4 years to that moment, and just to watch the players skate around and salute the fans and see their wave at their parents, and I just felt overwhelmed and just so proud. And my assistant coach, I was trying so hard not to cry. And my assistant coach leaned over and he said, 4 years we did our best. He said, you can cry now. And when he said that, I looked over and our North coach was crying and my assistant coach was crying, and we all just kind of cried because it was over, and we were just so proud of everything our team had done.
The athletes burst into tears when their North Korean teammates returned home. Sharing hugs and holding hands, they promised each other that they would meet up again one day. It was a scene unimaginable to everyone in the beginning.
뭐 소셜 미디어나 그다음에 아니면 이메일이나 또 화상 통화나 그렇게 연락을 주고받을 수 있는데 이 친구들은 그걸 할 수가 없으니까 이게 헤어짐이 굉장히 더 좀 마음이 좀 아프더라고요. 왜냐면 다시는 연락할 수 없는 친구들과의 헤어짐이었기 때문에.
Inter-Korean reconciliation maneuvers on the sidelines of the Peace Olympics raised tenuous hopes of lower tensions on the peninsula. The women's ice hockey team was the epicenter of these hopes as the only unified team at the Games.
So I really thank everybody that supported us along the way, all of our players, parents, and friends. It's been a tough 4 years and they've had to sacrifice a lot. So I'd like to thank the parents of our players and just our players for how hard they worked. It hasn't always been easy, but they did a great job. I think that through us working together for a common goal, hopefully it changed some people's minds about North and South, and it also showed how powerful sport is.
The Winter Olympics came to an end nearly 2 months ago, but Shin says she still becomes very emotional when thinking of her North Korean teammates.
저희 마지막 헤어질 때 다치지 말고 건강하라고 했거든요. 다치지 말고 세계 선수권 잘 뛰어서 좀 저희 윗디비전으로 와서 다음에 꼭 만나는 날이 있기를 간절히 바라고 아프지 말라고 얘기해주고 싶어요.
Our team made history. It was the first ever unified team. And I don't think anybody could have ever predicted that it would work. And it did work. So yeah, it was a very special experience for everybody who was involved.
The unified team finished winless on the ice, yet they made history off it at the Olympics. Their touching endeavors will definitely provide the spark for more peaceful exchanges between South and North Korea. Forests in North Korea are disappearing at an alarming pace, with the rate of deforestation in the country the third highest in the world. Knowing the seriousness, the South has been offering different kinds of support on a humanitarian level to restore North Korean forests. Let's take a glimpse at how the South is trying to make the North green once again. This tree nursery is located in Hwacheong-gun, Gangwon-do Province, near the borderline of the two Koreas. It has some 150,000 pine saplings planted last year, getting ready for its first shipment of the year. 10 centimeters in height, these pines are only a year old. Still, they're the ultimate result of thorough control of growing conditions, including temperature, humidity, and soil. The seedlings here will soon be replanted in North Korea. North Korea has experienced deforestation for decades and a destructive cycle of severe food shortages and natural disasters. To help address the issue, South Korean government agencies, companies, and civil forest organizations set up this tree nursery together. To ensure they take root properly in North Korean soil, all the planting and growing procedures, including the types of seeds and sowing process, have been thoroughly studied and compiled into data.
나무를 북한에다가 올려주는 게 목적이 아니고 이제 시설 양묘장을 운영하는 매뉴얼 같은 여러 제반 사항을 북에다가 전달하는 걸 목표로 하고 있습니다.
Decades-long severe deforestation puts North Korea a few steps away from devastation. Judging from NASA's satellite images analyzed by the Korea Forest Research Institute from 1999, 1.2 million hectares of North Korean forests were lost by the end of 2008.
고난의 행군 시대가 있었습니다. 그래서 북한 주민들이 식량을 확보하기 위해서 산림의 개간을 통해서 농지를 확보를 했죠. 그것이 이제 다락밭, 떼기밭의 형태로 무분별하게 이제 그 개간이 됐습니다.
Deforestation leads to various natural disasters, including floods, droughts, and landslides. The phenomenon has also been very damaging to nature and hampering the efforts to combat climate change, which puts the ecosystem of the entire Korean Peninsula at risk.
당류 지역 산림이 황폐화됨으로써 주변 산림의 나무의 건강성이 약화됩니다. 그렇게 되면 돌발 산림 병해충이 발생하게 되는데 이제 남쪽의 산림 생태화가 연결된 상태에서 남쪽의 생태에게도 많은 악영향을 미치게 됩니다.
The South Korean government and civil organizations have made various efforts to stop deforestation in the north since 1999. However, efforts were halted in May 2009 after the North conducted a second nuclear test and soured inter-Korean relations.
최근까지도 계속해서 남북관계가 경색되어 있던 부분이라서 저희가 그 경로라든지 루트 이런 부분들에 대해서는 상당히 많이 막혀 있었던 것이 사실입니다. 다른 채널들을 통해서 좀 묘목을 지원할 수 있는 방안들을 강구하려고 노력하고 있습니다.
Pyongyang declared a war against man-made deforestation. However, they have been met with major financial obstacles, with restoration costs increasing exponentially over time. Driven by the recent improvement in inter-Korean relations, the Korea Forest Service set up more tree nurseries and further expanded its assistance for the restoration project.
We now have seeds of 25 types, which amount to 30 tons, as seed suppliers in 12 sites across the nation. The Korean Forest Service and the civil organization has established nurseries in Goseong, Cheorwon, Hwacheon, in Gangwon Province.
Along with governmental assistance, more efforts are being made on a civilian level. In Cheorwon-gun, Gangwon-do Province, about 5 kilometers from the civilian control line, is a plant nursery specifically built for North Korea. The 13 greenhouses here produce some 600,000 saplings per year. Currently, they house pine trees and Larix camphiri.
가장 적응이 잘 되는 게 금강산 지역엔 소나무고 그 이북지 더 높은 지역에는 낙엽송이 잘 되기 때문에 낙엽송을 하게 됐습니다.
The trees were planted last year by a local forestry association under the assistance of a private organization. They will be replanted in the north as soon as exchanges resume between the two Koreas. All the saplings here will be heading to the north to restore forests.
최소한 2년을 키워야 되기 때문에 2년 뒤를 보장할 수 없지 않습니까? 그래서 이제 저희가 바라는 거는 계속 이 별개로 유지가 돼서 계속적으로 이 사업을 진행할 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다.
Nature is a gift to humanity. South Korea is striving to restore North Korean forests to enjoy that ultimate gift while preventing natural disasters and preserving biodiversity on the peninsula. Hopefully, their sincere efforts will further improve inter-Korean relations and eventually open the gate to reunification. Celebrated classical composer 윤이상의 has finally returned home, although in ashes. Learn more about the composer and his treasured legacy in his hometown, Tongyeong. Tongyeong is a port city located in the southern edge of the Korean Peninsula. Often praised as the Naples of the Orient, the town is an intoxicating blend of rustic small-town charm, port city cosmopolitanism, and stunning seaside scenery. However, it was a sight for a lifelong yearning for one person. It's none other than 윤이상의, one of the 5 most influential 20th century composers around the world. 23 years after his death, his ashes made the final journey back to his hometown from Berlin, Germany. Yoon's homecoming project began last July when First Lady Kim Jong-suk planted a camellia tree she brought from Dongyang next to his grave.
남편의 묘지를 하루라도 빨리 통영으로 옮기고 자기가 소원하던 장소에 언덕에 낭짓바른 언덕에 바다가 바라보이는 데서 파도 소리를 들으면서 잠자고 싶다. 이것이 본인의 소원이었습니다. 그래서 지금 묻혀 있는 곳이 그렇다고 말할 수가 있습니다.
The 윤이상 Memorial Hall was constructed near his birthplace. Through his instruments, manuscripts, and other keepsakes, the place offers a glimpse of his life and artistry. Born in Dongyang in 1917, Yoon spent his youth there until he turned 18. His hometown was also an eternal source of inspiration for the great composer. He then went to Japan to study music, came back to Korea to be a teacher, and then Yoon left for France in 1956 when he was nearly 40 to quench his thirst for music.
음악이라는 게 내게는 땅바닥에 솟아나는 분수처럼 내한테 솟아난다. 그런데 내가 그걸 표현하기에는 너무 기술이 부족하다. 그래서 나는 외국에 가서 공부를 해가 와야 되겠다. 그리고 내 후배에게는 내가 선생님이 없어서 이렇게 고생하는 그 경험을 시키지 않기 위해서 공부해가 와가지고 또 좋은 선생님이 돼서 그 한국의 음악계를 돕겠다.
10 years later, in 1966, the composer made his international breakthrough with the orchestral work Reek at the Donau Singing Festival in Germany. Unfortunately, his happiness didn't last long.
북한괴뢰는 동베를린에 본부를 두고 해남 벽화 공작을 벌여왔는데 독일이나
He was
핀란드
kidnapped by
등지에서
the South Korean secret police the following year, charged with espionage, and sentenced to life imprisonment because he had visited North Korea to meet his friends when anti-North Korean sentiment was reaching the boiling point in the South.
그때만 하더라도 우리나라의 그 상황 자체가 국가가 개인의 인권을 탄압하는데 아무런 제어식을 느끼지 않던 시절입니다. 그래서 선생님은 그 동백림 사건이라는 어마어마한 폭력을 당한 이후에 본인이 민주화 문제, 그게 직접적으로 투신하신 겁니다.
The Berlin house next to the 윤이상 Memorial Hall opened last year in commemoration of the centennial anniversary of his birth. It reenacts Yoon's home in Berlin with the sofa, desk, and other props that he personally used during his lifetime. The composer's longing and nostalgia for the homeland are captured in this artistry. Also, he never hesitated to express his view of social problems in Korea, including the division, and actively did his part to address them using the medium of music.
젊을서부터 어릴 서부터 정의감이 세고 그리고 애국 정신이 아주 철저합니다. 그러니까 그 감정이 뭐 일상생활에 있어서 외국에서 산다는 것보다 정신은 항상 한국에 와서 사는 거나 마찬가지였습니다.
The Pan-National Reunification Concert held by the two Koreas in 1990 was a prime example of his efforts. The theme for this year's Dongyang International Music Festival is Returning Home. For the opening performance, the Bochum Symphony Orchestra from Germany performed Yoon's Exemplum in the Memoriam Gwangju, written to commemorate the democratic uprising that took place in Gwangju in 1980.
If you live in Korea, you learn about the quite difficult history in the 1980s of Korea, and through that piece you really get a feeling of how difficult it was for the citizens of Gwangju in 1980.
Yoon was praised for his exceptional ability to combine East and West in his music.
His life was full of suffering, of conflicts, of problems, and he really longed for this place. He really wanted to be back here. And so I think to close that long journey, to end that long journey, it is wonderful to really have him back here as part of his community, as part of his people. And I hope that it really will contribute to make him Korea's national composer again.
Spending his life in a foreign country, Yoon's heart was always with his homeland, saying he had never once forgotten Dongyang. The late composer is now in his final resting place of his childhood memories.